Hey there, good morning. It's finally Friday, February 28th. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett here on News 6 Plus, clickorlando.com, and the WKMG YouTube channel. So we are getting ready for the weekend. Lots of things going on. Bike week kicking off today around Daytona, and we're getting ready for some good weather too. We have some top headlines to get to. We also have a live interview with an expert from Trend Micro. We talk to them every once in a while about cybersecurity, and today an update on some of the latest scams and schemes when it comes to looking for love. You know, yesterday we talked about, relationships and trying to talk to a counselor about ways to socialize more and make friends. But there's also the other side of that, the scams you have to watch out for, whether it's online or in your email or whatever, social media. And so we'll talk to someone from Trend Micro coming up to give us an idea of some of the ways that they are targeting people of all ages. But first, let's get you ready to head out the door. And Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Weather Center. And Candace, we're waking up some cooler air this morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Yes, some cooler air. It's not really a big noticeable cool change just yet. We're going to continue to see some of that weather kind of filter in little by little throughout the day. So let's take it to the maps and show you what's going on and what to expect over the next couple of days. A nice stretch of weather, Bridget. Highs today will be in those low 70s. We'll continue to warm up into those mid 70s as we head into that weekend. But warmer days are ahead. By early next week, we will get back into those 80s, all ahead of our next cold front. That cold front will be causing some issues, not so much for us here locally in Central Florida, but across the deep south, as we're going to continue to watch the potential for some strong to severe storms. Some models have been favoring the potential for severe weather outbreaks across Dixie Valley. But right now, what you need to know locally here, nothing to impede any fun outdoor plans you might have, whether it's today, tomorrow, or Saturday. Right now, temperatures out the door, we are in the low 50s across our northern zones, low 60s elsewhere. Kind of widening out the view here. This is what our satellite and radar composite looks like. You can see that cold front just now making its way into South Florida. Cooler air with a big ridge of high pressure will build in behind it, and that will be bringing temperatures below average for today. So our forecast highs this afternoon are going to continue to stay in the mid to low 70s inland, although areas along our coastal communities could possibly stay in those 60s, especially in Volusia, northern Brevard, and into Flagler County as well. Then later on tonight, because we'll have a few hours since the front passed, we'll see some temperatures down into those 40s in Ocala, Palm Coast, the villages as well. And then we'll be into those mid 50s pretty much everywhere else. But you can see here clouds and rain forecast, really not showing much of clouds or rain. Could see a little bit of cloud cover by early Saturday morning. And then here comes another cold front. This cold front, just like this morning, will come through very little fanfare. What this one will be doing is just kind of re-ushering in and kind of reinforcing this nice weather for the weekend. So as you take you here throughout the next few days, 73, that's our high for today. Then we'll get to near normal on Saturday, almost a carbon copy of the weather on Sunday and Monday as well. Both for highs and lows, conditions are also going to be pretty nice. Maybe the breeze picks up just a little bit on Sunday. But this is our next big system that we're going to be tracking. Notice all the activity ahead of that front across the deep south. We have that jet that's going to be digging. We have a jet streak. The combination of the atmosphere is going to be stacked up, unfortunately, not in favor of some areas throughout areas of Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, as we're going to continue to see the potential for some strong storms. But notice what happens as we push the clock through Wednesday into Thursday. That cold front really weakens as it moves into Central Florida. So we will have the chance of seeing some rain locally, but it will be nothing like what areas of parts of eastern Texas, parts of Arkansas, Louisiana will have to be dealing with over the next couple of days. So for us locally here, our next best shot for rain will come Tuesday and Wednesday. As of right now, not a big washout by any means. It will get warm before that front gets here, and then another about 10-degree drop as we head into the kind of back half of next week.
It looks really good, Candace.
It really does. It really does. 70 and sunny on a weekend. Go.
Chef's kiss, like we said this morning. So no complaints whatsoever. So lots to do too, especially with bike week and all these other things. Like you said, you pick any area you want to go. There's something happening outside this weekend. So it's perfect festival weather.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Candace.
Sure.
Sure. All right. Well, let's check in with Trooper Steve, gearing up for the weekend as well. And it looks like, oh, there. I thought you were frozen for a second. How are you this morning?
I'm just like a thief in the night, just
Oh.
hanging out. Oh, I'm hanging out here. Just it's like you guys said, it is beautiful outside.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Got the seat warmer on. Got my little fleece. Says it's 60 degrees. I can't complain about it.
Yeah.
It's in my nose.
You said you were going to get a donut. Did you say you were going to get donuts? I don't know.
I think you have that story stuck in your head from the kid calling 911.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my emergency services are not available.
No
this
emergency
morning.
donuts? Okay. If you didn't know, there was
No.
a toddler who called 911 for
Yes.
emergency donuts. It was a story this morning.
However, though, I'm not going to go get donuts. I am
Okay.
going to go see dinosaurs.
Oh, that's right. Tell us more.
So this is put on by Lamino Project, a company, and it's a Dino Safari, and it is an immersive dinosaur light animatronic experience.
Very cute.
And it is a family-friendly event, and it's right in front of where Crayola Experience is out by the Florida Mall. So what they reached out and they were like, Steve, we know you're not really like into this stuff, but would you mind coming out? And I was like, absolutely. So today at 10 a.m., I'm going to be out there. And what's going to happen is they're going to turn everything on for me. And we're going to take the entire live stream, show you what's going on out there. You can buy your tickets in advance on the website here. And they're really not that expensive. Go out there, check it out. Family friendly. It's a nighttime kind of thing. Because everything lights up, Bridgett. I just thought of you and your kids, Candace and the girls, right away, just because it fits right into that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this. I think that they've been doing this for a while. It looks like it just gets bigger and better. So, Florida Mall area, right?
I'm a big kid at heart, so this will be a fun time on a Friday and do that. And, show it out. Yeah, up at Florida Mall, that big space parking lot in front of Crayola Experience by 528, right there. It's all over there. So that's going to be at 10 a.m.
So you're not going to drive through. Do you drive through it or walk through it or a little bit of both?
Yeah. I have got my nifty camera that is getting all charged up right now, and this is going to be our live stream. We're going to body cam this from the event, and we're going to walk around. And you're going to see it POV. So from my perspective, not the truck. It's going to be, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a really cool time. Weather's perfect
10?
for it.
Okay.
Yep. 10 a.m. YouTube, Click Orlando, New 6 Plus, the app, all that fun stuff. And then I'll give you traffic real quick.
Good deal. How's it looking?
It's actually not that bad. 528 right now out in Brevard County, looking great. No problems there. The drive times when it comes to I-4, they're on the increase this morning, but it's a late increase. So 38 minutes, Champions Gate to 408. Keep in mind this weekend, a lot of bikers out on the road. I already hear them going by me as I'm parked here at the rest area. So look twice, save a life. It takes both parties to make sure that we're driving safely. I-4 westbound at Lake Mary, we're just starting the delay this morning, Bridgett, so it's not too bad out there. I always say Fridays post-COVID are so much better out on our roadways. 436, 434, running smooth this morning. We had some earlier slowdown, but it was routine. And with I-4 running parallel right next to it, things very nice. Right by the station, OBT and John Young, nice, but the school zone still a little hot along Edgewater. So people just need to take it nice, easy, Bridgett. It is, we have so many events going on, and everyone's going to be out and about. So I would hate for us to come in on Monday and report on a pedestrian crash or bicyclist, motorcyclist. So
yeah, look twice.
Yes, make sure we're all paying attention, working together, and we'll have a great weekend.
All right, perfect. Well, we'll see you at 10. Can't wait to see the Dino Safari.
Yeah, right? I'll see you then.
Okay, thanks, Steve. We do have some headlines to get to first this morning. One of the big stories, the woman who shot and killed her terminally ill husband is said to be sentenced today. Protesters are also expected outside the courthouse in relation to this case. Ellen Gillen is facing up to 10 years in prison. Our Mark Lehman has more.
This morning, 78-year-old Ellen Gillen will be back in court in learning if she'll spend the next decade in prison for shooting and killing her terminally ill husband at Advent Health, Daytona Beach.
I don't want to hurt you. We don't want to hurt you. Tell me what's going on.
It was 2 years ago when the shooting happened and Gillen was involved in a standoff with police. Investigators say she admitted it was part of a murder-suicide pact the couple had planned, but after shooting her husband, she couldn't pull the trigger on herself.
I believe she belongs out. She's not a threat to anyone. I'm going to take her into my home. I'm not threatened.
Gillen was granted bond after spending over a month in jail. Last year, she pleaded no contest to manslaughter and aggravated assault charges. The case has drawn attention from Death with Dignity supporters who are working on a proposed End-of-Life Options Act. Any legislation on the issue, however, likely won't happen quickly.
Of course, we'll be following that throughout the day, and you can see updates on clickorlando.com. Also this morning, final goodbyes continue for late State Senator Geraldine Thompson. Yesterday, they held a viewing, and today, the homegoing service at 11 a.m. at Majestic Life Church off Kirkman Road in Orlando. The longtime lawmaker and civil rights advocate passed earlier this month at the age of 76 after complications from knee replacement surgery. With the legislative session coming up, some colleagues say that they will move ahead with bills she was planning to introduce, including bringing a Black History Museum, a state Black History Museum, to Eatonville. Also this morning, outspoken attorney and top Democratic donor in Florida, John Morgan, calling for a third political party for people he says who are stuck in the middle.
The left is crazy, the right is crazy, we're in the middle.
He made the announcement on social media site X. He says politics in the Sunshine State has become more about labels and not issues, and says he's hoping a third party might help bridge the gap.
When you take the DNR down, most of us agree on most things. But you put a D or R next to it, it's no good. Here's the real point. There's as many independents, no party affiliation, as there is Republicans.
Now, Morgan's long been rumored to maybe eye a run for office himself. We asked him about it. He told us he hasn't made a decision and is taking a wait and see approach. So we'll be keeping in touch with him on that. Also this morning, neighbors writing in about a crosswalk area that they say is damaging vehicles. This is happening in Winter Park, and so we got an email saying we should look into a new raised crosswalk that they believe could be installed improperly and possibly damaging cars. This is at Orange Avenue near Berkshire, and News 6's Angie Casada went out to investigate.
Some drivers heading from Winter Park into Orlando say this raised crosswalk near Berkshire Avenue is more than just a speed bump. It's a problem. The local residents say the new addition is exactly what this area needs.
We're just alarmed at the speed that drivers drive down here, and actually the lack of consideration for lane changing. There are lots of drivers that just, dice in and out and cut, and it's amazing.
Oh, we just heard a car right there.
Yeah, you heard a car right there. Exactly. And it's not good. I mean, they have to slow down. So I think it's a great thing. More of this is better.
I think that's more of a component of people speeding. And again, if you're creating a safe crosswalk, you want people to drive slowly at the crosswalk.
Yellow lights are flashing.
And also, this is a 30-mile-an-hour residential area. The sign's right over there. So you definitely want to slow down.
FDOT says the crosswalk is part of a larger safety project along Orange Avenue. While some say this crosswalk is causing more harm than good, others say just slow down. Reporting in Winter Park, Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
And FDOT told News 6 that it went out to investigate the crosswalk as well after getting some complaints, and they say it's built according to plans. It is not too high. The agency says it's reaching out to ask for more speed enforcement in that area and exploring if there are any modifications that can be made to make it less pronounced for drivers. So, of course, going to keep you updated on that one as well. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the latest on romance scams and schemes online from cybersecurity experts at Trend Micro. Back, yesterday we talked to a licensed counselor about some of the declining numbers when it comes to marriage and divorce and partnerships. And today we're going to take a more technical approach. We're talking to cybersecurity experts from Trend Micro. We have Lynette Owens with us to talk about some of the scams and schemes to watch out for out there if you are looking for love online. Good morning, Lynette.
Good morning, Bridget. How are you?
Good, good. I know you specialize in cybersecurity. Yesterday we talked about how some of the numbers are down when it comes to how many people are, partnering up or getting married and divorced, but a lot of people do turn to online. We talked about how some of the satisfaction levels are down when it comes to using things like apps and dating websites. And so I would imagine some of the reasons some of that satisfaction is down because of the scams.
That's very likely the case, Bridget. And, but I think what hasn't changed and what cyber criminals do take advantage of is that we're still humans, and they do try and take advantage of the fact that we may be experiencing loneliness or seeking companionship. And that's very much part of their game.
And we talked about that too as well, because a record number of people reporting loneliness. They say 1 in 6 Americans feel like they're experiencing chronic loneliness. And so, like you said, that's something that predators know and then they target. So what is happening online, and what are some of the ways that people are able to, trick people and take advantage of them?
Well, I think one thing that people have to understand is that these criminals are actually quite organized. This isn't just sort of someone randomly seeing your profile photo and saying, I really like that person and I'm going to try and, scheme or scam them. This is a lot more organized than I think people realize, and they're in it for the long haul. So they're going to try and collect any information they can about you. What you like, what you've been posting about, who you're connected to, who you're following, and they will use that to their advantage to play the long game. Pull you in, flatter you, and you may not even realize that it's happening because they're willing to stretch this out for quite a long period. And then some of the telltale signs where we used to think, oh, this person doesn't want to get on camera with me. Well, unfortunately, with new tools given to us by generative AI, people can start to use face swapping technology. So they're actually willing to get on camera with you, and you might not even realize that's not the person you think it is.
We've done some stories on that. Some of our investigators have actually shown how that works, whether it's manipulating the voice or the appearance. And so when it comes down to it, what are some of the best ways to weed out imposters and phonies and people looking to scam you?
I think there's a couple things you can do most immediately. The first thing is that if you're not sort of thinking ahead of time, what would I do if this happened to me? Or even having those kinds of conversations with your families, whether they're your older parents or your children who are using social media, because this does target people of all ages, then you really should have that conversation. There's too much of a stigma around this particular issue. We did a study with 6,000 consumers, and not a very big majority were willing to report it if they thought it had happened to them. We got to remove the stigma. The second is use security software wherever you can, because it could be that somehow you have malicious software on your phone or your laptop, and the criminals actually have figured out stuff about you because they have put that onto your machine. So use that. And finally, we're a big proponent of using little tricks as a family. Have a secret code. Only 13 or 15% of people we asked had a secret code to be able to verify, is this really someone I should trust or not? With your family, if they're trying to scam you, let's say it's someone trying to trick you into that. But also have conversations. As I said, only 13% of people we asked said that they were even talking about this as a family. So let's get rid of the stigma. And finally, use a reverse lookup. If you look at someone's profile picture, there's an easy way on Google to actually see if that is the real image or if it's been used somewhere else before. Those are some ways that you can flag.
And you talked about security software, but are there certain sites that maybe are more prone to meeting up with a potential scammer versus others? Would you say like certain dating sites might be more secure, or it's just everywhere?
No, it's everywhere. It can start on a dating site, but very often one of the signals is they'll ask you to move to another place, like an encrypted site like WhatsApp or somewhere else. That is a flag, but it's not always the case. It can really happen anywhere. So that's why we do recommend that.
Yeah, I mean, and it even happens on Facebook. There have been people who've contacted me and said that they thought they were chatting with me, and I said, well, I don't chat on Facebook, and it's not me. And so it's really too easy for people to sort of impersonate others, and so you do have to be on your guard. Where can we get more information, Lynette?
Yep, you can actually follow us on trendmicro.com. And actually, we highly recommend, we actually developed an app called Trend Micro Scam Check. And this actually would let you, if you think you're getting into a dating situation and you decide to get that into that video chat, within seconds, it's going to flag to you that this person is using some kind of face swapping technology. And so anyone that you might be looking for love, it's fine. But if you want to be extra cautious, this is a tool that we highly recommend. Trend Micro Scam Check.
Okay, and is that free?
It is free for 30 days, and it's only like $1.99 a month after that. So, it's not super expensive. We developed it because we saw this issue starting to rise. And I think the telltale signs, the person says, I don't want to meet in person. That's no longer a barrier for the criminals. And so we think it's really important that people have ways to protect themselves.
All right, great. Well, this is wonderful information. We appreciate your time, Lynette, and we'll check in with you again soon. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Bridgett.
All right, take care. Well, it is Friday, and on Fridays, we like to check in on what's happening on Black Men Sundays with News 6 photojournalist and podcast host Corey Murray, and he is working on some financial advice just in time for tax time. Good morning, Corey. Happy Friday. Are you on mute? You might be on mute. I see you talking, but I don't hear you. See if we can figure it out. No? Let's see. Something's not coming through. I don't know. Okay, Corey, we're going to try to work it out, figure out the audio. In the meantime, we want to tell you that Bike Week is kicking off, like we mentioned, more than 500,000 bikers revving up their engines, rolling into Daytona Beach. Right now, it is the 84th annual Bike Week, and it's a week-long event kicking off today. Businesses in the area are excited. They're gearing up for one of the big money makers of the year for them. And local law enforcement is, of course, asking everyone, as always, to be ready for that increased traffic, especially motorcycles, and practice that extra patience on the road. Remember, look twice, save a life.
Hear me now?
I got you, Corey. Good morning.
Good morning. I swear these computers are interesting because I was using a different system. Same system, but a different microphone. So anyway, here we go. Black Men Sundays. We're talking to Nelson Simmons, my budgeting coach, my financial advisor. This is our part 2. So I had to ask him, how can we save money on our taxes? Or how do we get more money back in return on our taxes? Better yet, let's roll that.
Own assets, particularly real estate. There's a lot of write-offs if you own, right? There's the interest credit that you can get. Or deduction. Make sure that you're contributing as much as you can to your plans at work and contributing to your IRAs, right? If you contribute to a traditional, there's deductions on the traditional side, not necessarily on the Roth side.
Definitely. So I had to ask her, well, what's the worst way to be taxed?
But I found that the worst way to be taxed is at ordinary income, right? And so you have to own property, or own a business, or invest. And those are the ways that can really reduce your taxes. Else, you're at the mercies of the Trump tax deductions and things that Congress puts in place to help the middle class reduce their tax burden.
That's right. And the show comes out this Sunday. The show that we dropped last week was part 1. That show was dedicated to our 55 to 65 retirees that are trying to preserve their assets. You know, when on Black Men Sundays, we always talk about the accumulation phase for people 18 to 5, but what about in that accumulation phase? I mean, what about in that protection or asset preservation phase where you don't want to deal with market volatility? But what's unique about this show with part 2 is we talk about the 2025 IRA contribution limits. And one thing that he did tell us that there's a new component this year that helps older investors contribute more, because the whole goal now is having elders, instead of getting out to preserve your assets due to market volatility, now you're able to get more back on your taxes and still stay contributing. You know what I mean? So that's what makes this unique for 2025. So that's what this show is about. We also talk about, do you still need a financial advisor? Why do you need one? If you don't need one, he gives some tips about that. This show comes out this Sunday, all podcast platforms on News 6 Plus. Part 1 is on News 6 Plus right now. I'm telling you, if you're at 55 to 65 and you're trying to buffer your wealth from loss, that show is out right now. I can't tell you how many responses I've gotten back from that show. So check us out this week, though. But this is more of the 2025 contribution limits, specifically for your IRA. We also talk about income limits and tax write-off. So there we go. Black Men Sundays. It drops this Sunday. That's part 2 with Nelson Simmons, a budgeting coach. He's also my financial advisor out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Very cool. And Corey, it's interesting you mentioned that. I was talking to a fiduciary recently, and I asked that question about people who are inching closer to retirement. Do they sort of get out of the high risk? And she was saying that, more and more she's seeing people that still want to do a lot of high risk even as they're getting closer. So it's an interesting, discussion to look at.
Yeah, definitely. And what's unique about the show that's already out is it shows you how to buffer your wealth from loss. Now, there are pros and cons to that. So check that show out now. But the show that's coming out Sunday, specifically taxes, contribution limits, specifically for your IRAs. We're talking about if you have a 401k, a 403b, a 457b business owner, we're talking about ways to get you set up for 2025, because there are some changes. So there we go, Black Men Sundays. And I'm sorry about the audio. I tried something different.
We're used to it. I'm glad we got you, and we'll be looking for that new one. All right, see you a little bit later. Thanks, Corey.
See you soon.
All righty. Well, of course, we are going to hit the road to Oviedo, so let us know about the stories that you would like us to cover, and you can just go over to clickorlando.com/hitstheroad and tell us about the Oviedo stories, people and places that you want us to go to and check out for you before we do our live newscasts out there. That's going to do it for breakfast. We'll see you at noon. Take care.